Welcome everyone. So I'm at the moment in the middle of an assignment. So I thought that why not discuss this assignment with you guys and see if I can get some pointers down in the comments below. So this is the assignment that I'm currently working on. Here it is. Now I'm at the moment trying to find a niche, or as in layman terms, a area of my subject where I'm comfortable with and I want to compete in. So this, in fact, as I mentioned in the title of the lesson here, finding the gold. So by finding the gold, we are trying to find out which area of our niche we are most comfortable with. Now, of course, we're already from the subject of the group you're familiar with that the niche that I'm focusing on is online tutoring. That's why the name of the group itself is Learn Tutoring Online. Now, here, while finding the gold, well, let us now go over some pertinent points within the same document here. Now, of course, we have decided where we want to compete, and this market is continuously expanding. There are plenty of tutoring companies that are looking for effective tutors, and you have to market yourself to to be recognized within their hiring list, or else you will be recognized by a company that probably will be desperate to have an online tutor that can deliver any kind of content. We don't want you to be classified among that category. That's a category from which it's going to be very hard to get out of. And I have met people who have especially fallen into that space and found it very difficult to crawl out of. Sometimes you could be even saddled with a mentality that, okay, this kind of content presentation is alright. If I present the content this way, I'm still getting the money. That's not the right mindset with which we must approach this profession. We must approach online tutoring as a value based reward profession. The value that you provide during the session will give you the just rewards. That's how my code of honor video also specifies. That's how also I wanna give the same message to you guys as well. The value that you provide in the session will ensure that you can compete in the ever expanding market. That should be your goal going forward. Now, there will be infinite areas in which you can compete, because the global economy, no matter whatever the talk of recession may be, the recession is just a low part of the curve. Once you reach the low part of the curve, it's always gonna go up. Now, the next slide is gonna explain a bit more about global economy. Now, let's look at the first sentence only, just the first sentence. Stay with me there. So, as the average age of the country goes up, people will spend more. Especially, look at the main tourism, they'll spend more. Healthcare, they'll spend more. And third of all, real estate. Now, why I put real estate last, you might be wondering. It's because usually with the lifestyle that we are leading these days, healthcare dominates a larger chunk of the expenditure of middle-aged and older couples. That's just the trend as it is. So hence, people always tend to spend more in very developed economies. However, now let's look at the case of India. What's happening here? Our average age is very low. There are a large number of youth. They are unemployed. They can't get jobs anywhere. Why can't they get jobs anywhere? Is it that they're not skilled enough? Exactly. They are not getting enough opportunities to express their talent. Once they get their talent, if they are able to market themselves accordingly, they will be able to provide for their families. Now that these are all very important statements over here that I'm making. So as your household spending is keeping on increasing every month, it keeps on increasing, right? Prices of essential commodities not keeping stable. These are all signs of inflation, the economy in decline, right? Now, let's look at it in an earner's perspective. From the earner's perspective, an earner will not be able to save as much as he did when the economy was growing. And that's one aspect which you have to keep in mind whenever you are working. Now, the savings that you do of your salary is going to be very critical, because the wealth that you save is that emergency fund that you can utilize at the older ages. And that's one advantage which the older generation had with their growing economy. So that is a disadvantage that we are facing right now because the economy is in decline. And then the debt circle, of course. Using loans to finance your investments, EMIs, taking credit cards, all of these come under the ability to increase your spending power, but at the cost of your savings budget. Your savings budget is again eaten away as you pay interest on all those EMIs, credit card loans, etc. So there are all very important aspects to consider whenever talking about the increase of an economy, the growth of an economy. Now let's go over the following sentences. Debt creates money. Suppose a lending institution as a bank gives out loans. They are able to earn interest on those loans, right? Consequently, the person taking the loans is expected to extract some amount of revenue from that loan investment, right? So suppose I'm building an extension to my house, I am expected to rent out that area or extension of my house so that I will be able to pay out the loan, or my salary cap must be high enough that I will be able to offset any decrease in my savings due to the loan taken. These are all pertinent points that have to be considered before taking a loan. Loan is not an emergency bailout instrument that you just approach and you get it like that. So you should not be seeing a loan as a bailout instrument. A loan is a measure which will allow you to increase your investment capability short term, so that long term you will build up your savings due to the loan being spent on increasing your investment capability. And then about companies, the last two sentences are, now we're just going to read out the last two sentences here. Let's not worry about recession, because there will always be a bailout instrument at the highest level. That's something which now it's being a bit controversial, as you can see, with the public sector companies being privatized and all that. Those are all those are all fiscal policies that will only turn out, we don't know how they will turn out in the future. I'm not a big economist, by the way, so fiscal policies, how they turn out, we just have to wait and see. But at this moment, it's our responsibility to tailor our resume strong enough so that the strong companies will hire us, and we will be able to become an effective individual working for those strong companies. If you can become such a capable individual, you will have no problem surviving during recession time, because if you are a reliable individual, if you are a good earner, the company will retain you. So hope you understood what I meant by the ability to boost your resume with your capabilities. That's what makes an effective online tutor. And of course, one of the pillars of my code of honor, you might have noticed the third one in orange, clarity. And for having clarity in online tutoring, you must have perfect communication skills. You might realize my accent has become a bit anglicized over the years. Fellow friends of mine have always commented on that when I speak in English. Now, this anglification of my language, it happened over a period of years. I never left the country for learning the language. Of course, you know that. I never hired a personal tutor. However, it just happened because of my profession, and my profession in which at least I worked around 4 to 6 hours a day I work on online tutoring, foreign students, of course. That's how the language developed. Nothing candid else to say about that. However, I'm very vocal about whatever thoughts I want to express, and it is that communication skills that have trickled down into my conversation abilities as well. That's why I feel that now I can communicate my ideas at a more simpler, a base level, such that even the weakest students can understand me. And those that the self confidence that came out in me, that's when I realized learning learning to tutor online itself is a very specific niche. It's a specific niche which needs very careful attention to develop and train the online tutors for the 21st century. That's why I've taken it up as my mission to help 100,000 online tutors within the next 5 years. That's my goal, and I'm pretty sure all of you will help me achieve my goal, because I know that deep down inside, the trust that you have when you join this group, and I intend to repay that trust by over delivering on value, so that you and everyone around you interested in becoming an online tutor will take up online tutoring as a profession to make our country great again. Thank you, and have a nice day.